Hello there, 8th grade Grizzlies. This is Miss Brown, and this is going to be just a quick video for you all of an example of a brain dump that you can do before you take your atmospheric systems test. Okay? So, the key concepts for this unit that you would want to brain dump are the concepts of cohesion, adhesion, and surface tension in regards to the part about water that we studied, and then conduction, convection, radiation, land breeze, sea breeze, high and low pressure, and your fronts. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and get started with cohesion and adhesion. Okay, so what I did is I took a piece of paper and I just divided it up. So I have two pieces and I divided it into boxes. Okay, so you don't have to do that. You can just write it out. All right, here we go. So we have cohesion, adhesion, and surface tension. Okay, so cohesion is water attracted to water. Okay, so what I would draw is a water droplet. Okay, so cohesion can be a water drop forming, and also water coming from a faucet. Okay. All right. So then adhesion is water attracted to another surface or object. Okay, so you can say water on grass, water stuck to hair, and one that's on your test, hint, hint, is water in a graduated cylinder. So this is my graduated cylinder. Okay, and this would be like the meniscus. Okay, so let's say this is 100 milliliters. Okay, so the water being attracted to the graduated cylinder and forming this would be adhesion. Okay, and then lastly we had surface temperature. Surface tension. Okay, so surface tension, we're just going to say strong connections of water molecules near the surface. Okay, so let's say these are the water molecules on the surface, and that's why the water strider or a bug can walk on water. So that's my bug. Don't laugh at my drawings. Okay, so this would be something that you would definitely want to brain dump. All right, next we talked about the 3 types of heat transfer: conduction, convection, and radiation. Convection is the one you're going to need to know the most because that one is very strongly related to this entire unit on weather. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and start with convection. So that's where you have your warm air rising, and it is less dense. So it rises because the molecules spread apart. And then you have your cold air sinking. Cold air, not cold hair, oh my goodness. Cold air sinks, and it is more dense. Okay. Then radiation. That is the transfer of heat through electromagnetic waves, and that would be the sun and I'm gonna just draw a car here so you know how you get into a hot car. Okay, that's radiation. Okay, and then conduction is heat or energy transfer through direct contact. Okay, and we're just gonna say pot touching a hot stove. So the bottom of that pot is touching the heat source. Okay? All right. So this is the first part you want to break down. Okay. Then we talked about the two types of pressure systems. We talked about high pressure and low pressure. So low pressure is a capital L. And this is lousy weather. So it is clouds, rain, wind. Okay? Okay, then we talked about high pressure systems. Okay, and forgot for low pressure to put lousy weather. Oh no, I wrote it. I'm sorry. High pressure is happy weather. Okay, so it is clear, dry, and sunny. And then I'm going to throw this in here because this is on your test. Remember, areas of high pressure always want to go to low pressure, okay? So high always wants to go to low. Okay, next we talked about land and sea breeze. Okay, so I'm going to draw my pictures and then I'll draw my arrows. Okay. Okay, so we've got land, and over here we've got the sea, so the land breeze occurs at night. I'm going to draw my little moon. Okay. So the land is hotter, so your warm air is rising, and the cooler air from the sea is sinking. There's that convection current. Okay? Sea breeze is during the day. Okay? So the warm air is rising, and your cooler air is sinking. Okay? And it's going from high to low. And then high to low. All right, then we also talked about fronts. So you have a warm front. So there's 4 types of fronts. There's warm, cold, occluded, and stationary. Okay. So this is your warm front. This is your cold front. This is your stationary front. And let me find my purple for the occluded front. All right. So we know a warm front brings warm temperatures, and it can bring light rain. A cold front obviously brings cooler temperatures. A stationary front, remember, stationary front doesn't move. You can get fog, rain, and then occluded brings I'm going to say violent weather, and by that I mean thunderstorms. Okay. One thing I want to mention is the symbols point the direction that the front is moving. So this warm front is moving north. This cold front is moving south. Remember, warm air rises, cold air sinks. Stationary does not move. Okay? And the other thing I want to mention, excuse me, is that with the fronts, so this is a cold front. This is where the cold air is here. So the cold air is behind where the front begins. Okay? So same thing with a warm front. Warm air is here. Okay? And the last thing I am going to go over is hurricanes and ocean currents. So hurricanes. Remember, a hurricane needs warm ocean water. And it's usually 85 degrees or higher. Okay? That's what fuels a hurricane. It's not a warm front, it's not a cold front, it's not an occluded front. Hurricanes form over warm ocean water. Okay? And then warm water fuels the hurricane. I'm going to say fuels or gives energy to a hurricane. Okay. What weakens a hurricane? Cold water. Oops. And moving over land. Okay. These two things will weaken a hurricane. So warm water fuels it, cold water or moving over land will weaken it. So that's usually what happens with a hurricane. If a hurricane, for example, is in the Gulf of Mexico, it might be a category, let's say 3, but then when it hits land, it will weaken to maybe a category 1, and then it eventually becomes a low pressure system, which brings lots of rain and wind and all that. Okay. Last thing I'm going to go over is ocean currents. Okay. If you live near a warm ocean current, you're going to have warmer temperatures. So for example, we live near the Gulf of Mexico. Gulf of Mexico is a warm current. That, in addition to the fact that Houston is so close to the equator, you're going to have warmer temperatures. And if you live near a cold ocean current, such as the Pacific Ocean, which is which San Francisco is near the Pacific Ocean, you're going to have cooler temps. Okay. Now I know, ladies and gentlemen, this seems like a lot, but if you can brain dump this before your test, then you get it out of your brain onto paper, and then you'll have something to reference throughout your test, and that's going to help you remember everything and something you can refer to while you're answering the questions. Now you can't brain dump there before the test and bring it, but before you start your test, just maybe take 5 minutes and brain dump what you can. You don't have to do all of this, but brain dump what you can, and that's going to help you to remember everything for your test. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we know you're going to do well.